Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why certain people instantly command respect the moment they walk into a room, while others struggle to be taken seriously no matter how hard they try? It's not about status. It's not about how much money you make or how many degrees you've earned. It's about presence. It's about behavior. It's about the subtle, often overlooked habits that either elevate your influence or quietly dismantle it. Today, I want to talk to you about the 7 things you must stop doing if you truly want to earn the respect of others. Because here's the truth. Respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you build through action. Every word you speak, every promise you keep, and every decision you make is either pulling people closer or pushing them away. If you've ever felt dismissed, ignored, or underestimated, this message is for you, because once you understand what's silently costing you respect, and you start eliminating those habits one by one, everything begins to shift. Your relationships, your confidence, your reputation, and your results. So let's get into it. It's time to stop doing what's holding you back and start becoming the kind of person others naturally admire and listen to. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like people weren't taking you seriously? Like no matter what you said, they weren't fully engaged, weren't giving you the respect you know you've earned? It's frustrating. You put in the effort, you show up, you try to present your best self, yet somehow people don't treat you with the same regard they offer others. Here's the reality. Respect isn't handed out, it's earned. And many people are losing it without even noticing. It's not just about what you say, but what you do, your habits, your behaviors, and even the small things you may not realize you're doing. These choices either build your respect or quietly destroy it. Today we're going to break down 7 common behaviors that might be costing you respect. And let me be clear, this isn't about criticizing you, it's about raising awareness. Because unless you recognize and correct these habits, gaining influence, leadership, and the respect you need to move forward will remain a struggle. Let's get into it. Over-explaining makes you seem uncertain. Have you ever caught yourself repeating the same point several times in a conversation, thinking that more words will make your case stronger? Over-explaining is a habit that quietly erodes your credibility. While you may believe you're being thorough, it often signals doubt, lack of confidence, or a need for approval. People respect those who speak with clarity and confidence. When you explain too much, you suggest that your words can't stand on their own. Picture someone pitching an idea at a meeting. The confident person presents their thoughts clearly, makes eye contact, and then pauses to hear others out. The insecure one, however, continues to talk, repeats themselves, and seeks verbal reassurance. Who gains more respect? Likely the first. Adding too many details can make you seem less capable. Rather than sounding informed, you come off as unsure. The more you say, the more your message becomes diluted. A sharp, clear message has more power than a long-winded explanation. Whether you're leading, presenting, or simply sharing an idea, learn to be concise. People value their time, respect it, and they'll respect you. Ask yourself, have I already made my point? If yes, stop, let your words sink in, let others think, and respond. Why do people over-explain in the first place? Often it's fear of being misunderstood, or a desire to be liked. If you're always seeking confirmation, you're projecting insecurity. True confidence means trusting that you've communicated effectively without needing constant feedback. If clarification is needed, let others ask. Over-explaining can also be a sign of people-pleasing. If you frequently feel the need to justify your choices in detail, it may be because you're afraid of disappointing someone. Respected individuals state their decisions and move forward without defensiveness. They don't exhaust themselves trying to win approval. The solution, self-awareness. In your next conversation, pay attention. Are you repeating ideas? Are you adding irrelevant details? Are you uncomfortable with silence? One of the most powerful skills in communication is knowing when to stop. Make your point, then let it rest. If you trust your message, you don't need to repeat it. Speak with conviction, then step back. The more you do this, the more authority and respect you'll earn. Broken promises damage trust. Nothing undermines respect faster than not keeping your word. When you make a promise, people expect you to honor it. Failing to do so doesn't just affect that one instance, it creates doubt about your overall reliability. Respect is built on trust, And once that trust is broken, it's difficult to repair. Think about someone who frequently breaks their word. Maybe they cancel plans at the last minute or miss deadlines with excuses. How much respect do you have for them? Probably very little. Now think of someone who always follows through. Their promises carry weight because their actions consistently back them up. That's who people respect. It's not just the big commitments that matter. Even small promises, like calling someone back, showing up on time, or helping with a task, send a message. When you don't follow through, you tell people your words don't carry value. Each broken promise chips away at your credibility. One common reason people break promises is by saying yes too easily. They commit to things without having the time or energy to actually deliver. Then they scramble for excuses when they fall short. If you want to earn respect, learn how to say no. It's better to be honest up front than risk damaging your reputation later. Another problem is when people don't take their own promises seriously. They treat their commitments casually, assuming they'll be forgotten. But people remember. If you make empty promises regularly, others will stop believing you. And when belief fades, so does respect. There's also the matter of personal promises. When you commit to waking up early, building a habit, or pursuing a goal but keep quitting, you're not only letting yourself down, you're weakening your self-respect. Confidence begins with trusting yourself. If you don't honor your own word, how can others trust you? It's tough to accept, but true. People judge you by your actions, not your intentions. You may have a valid reason for breaking a promise, but what they remember is whether or not you did what you said. Respect is built through consistency, not explanations. To rebuild credibility, start by being honest with yourself. Are you someone who follows through? Can people depend on you? If not, it's time to make a change. Commit to fewer things, but when you do, give them your full effort. And if something truly prevents you from keeping a promise, take responsibility early, apologize, and make it right. Respected people stand by their word. They don't need reminders or second chances. If they say they'll do something, it gets done. If you want to be respected, start by respecting your own commitments, big or small, because your credibility is everything. Talking too much makes you seem self-focused. When you dominate conversations and rarely let others speak, it sends a message. You value your voice more than theirs. People who talk too much may think they're being engaging or insightful, but often they're simply overwhelming the conversation. Respect is built on mutual exchange, and when one person controls the dialogue, that balance disappears. Talking excessively causes people to disengage. When someone hears the same voice nonstop, their attention fades. No matter how interesting you think your words are, everyone has a limit. If you speak without pause, you'll lose people's focus and eventually their respect. Overtalkers often miss body language cues, glances at phones, short answers, or distant expressions. These are signs others want to speak or are no longer interested. Ignoring those cues leads to frustration and makes people feel ignored. Another problem? Talking too much can hurt your credibility. When you fill every silence with unnecessary information, people may begin to question whether you really understand your topic. Confident communicators speak with purpose. They don't repeat themselves or ramble. They get to the point and invite others to participate. In social settings, constantly dominating conversations can make you appear self-centered, even if that's not your intent. Sharing a story, then immediately jumping to another without acknowledging others, gives the impression that you're more interested in your own voice than in building connection. People respect those who make them feel heard, not those who take over every interaction. Why do some people talk too much? Often it's about seeking validation. Silence makes them uncomfortable because they fear rejection. They keep talking to fill that space, hoping for affirmation. But real confidence doesn't depend on constant feedback. A person who feels secure in themselves is comfortable with silence. They don't feel the need to fill every gap in conversation. They can ask a question and genuinely listen to the response without immediately redirecting the discussion to themselves. Another reason people tend to overtalk is a lack of self-awareness. They may not realize just how much space they're taking up in a conversation because they're too wrapped up in their own thoughts. Building self-awareness involves observing how much you speak compared to others, practicing active listening, pausing before you respond, and ensuring a balanced exchange. People naturally respect those who give them room to express their thoughts. If you want others to see you as someone worth engaging with, make it a habit to listen more than you speak. Practice asking thoughtful questions and show real interest in the answers. The more you allow others to contribute, the more valued they'll feel, and in return, the more respect you'll earn. Seeking constant approval undermines confidence. When you frequently look to others for reassurance, it signals a lack of self-trust. People who are respected often radiate confidence, and that confidence starts internally. Relying on validation from others weakens your personal authority and makes them question your independence. If you're often asking questions like, "Was that okay?" or "Did I do a good job?" it shows you may not be fully confident in your actions. While occasional feedback is healthy, depending on others for constant approval makes you appear unsure and reliant. Respected individuals trust their own judgment. When they make a choice, they stand by it. If you're constantly looking for others to back you up, you're handing over your power. Strong leaders make decisions based on their principles and reasoning, not public opinion. The more you chase validation, the less people see you as capable. Often this habit is driven by fear of failure, rejection, or not being enough. To shift this pattern, move your focus from external opinions to internal confidence. Instead of wondering, "Do they like me?" ask yourself, "Am I proud of how I handled that?" Respected people don't need applause to feel worthy. They've already made that decision for themselves. To stop seeking approval, start small. Choose the restaurant without asking if everyone agrees. Share your opinion without scanning the room for reactions. Take initiative without waiting for confirmation. Each time you do this, you build inner confidence and reduce your need for external reassurance. It also helps to accept that not everyone needs to agree with or approve of you. Respected individuals don't bend just to please others. They're willing to stand alone when it matters. Trying to please everyone makes you vulnerable to pressure. Standing by your beliefs, even in the face of criticism, earns real respect. Validation seeking often shows up in how we speak. If you regularly phrase your thoughts as tentative questions or soften your opinions to avoid pushback, you're subconsciously looking for approval rather than saying, "I think this might be a good idea, but I'm not sure. What do you think?" Try saying, "I believe this is a strong idea, and here's why." Speak with clarity and ownership. Breaking the need for validation is a process, but every step towards self-trust strengthens how you're perceived. You stop needing others to tell you that you're enough because you already know. And when you carry yourself with that certainty, respect comes naturally. Backing down too quickly signals weakness. When you fold at the first sign of disagreement, it sends a message: you're not confident in your ideas. Those who earn respect know how to stand firm, even when challenged. They don't let fear or pressure shake their decisions. When you constantly back down, it weakens your credibility and tells others your words have little weight. Backing down is often tied to discomfort with confrontation. Many people avoid it, afraid they'll upset someone or come off as difficult. But being respected doesn't require everyone to agree with you. It requires the courage to defend your beliefs and decisions when it matters. People who cave under resistance often struggle with self-doubt. They might start out firm, but the moment someone questions them, they second-guess themselves. And if you don't trust yourself, why would anyone else? Confidence comes from experience, but it starts with conviction. People often back down because they're looking for approval, they want to be liked and avoid conflict at all costs, but respect isn't earned through submission. If you're always yielding, letting others take control, or avoiding important conversations, you'll be seen as weak. Strength doesn't mean being forceful. It means having the courage to stand up for what matters. There's a difference between being flexible and being easily swayed. Flexibility is about being open to new ideas and adjusting when needed. Weakness is about giving in just to avoid standing alone. The key is learning when to compromise and when to hold your ground. Respected individuals don't take the easy way out. They make informed choices and stand by them. To develop this trait, practice self-assurance. Before facing a challenge, remind yourself why you believe in your position. If your reasoning is sound, you'll be less likely to cave. Also, slow down before responding to criticism. Don't react instantly. Pause, think, and respond logically. Sometimes just holding your ground calmly is enough to earn respect. And how you express yourself matters. If you use hesitant language like, I think maybe we should, or just an idea, but you're projecting doubt. Instead, use assertive language. I believe this is the right approach because, or here's what I propose. What you say is important, but how you say it makes the difference. Gossip erodes trust and respect. Few things damage your reputation as quickly as gossip. It may feel like bonding in the moment, but it undermines your trustworthiness. People might listen or even laugh, but silently, they're taking note. If you speak negatively about others, they'll assume you do the same behind their back. Gossip creates a culture of distrust. Once you're known for spreading stories or private details, people stop confiding in you. Respect is rooted in trust, and trust depends on discretion. The moment you're seen as someone who gossips, your reliability is questioned. Engaging in gossip also reflects poorly on your self-esteem. Often, those who criticize others are trying to boost their own image. They believe tearing someone else down makes them look better, but in reality, it reveals insecurity. Confident individuals don't need to diminish others to feel worthy. They support and uplift instead. Gossip can also spiral quickly. A casual comment gets twisted, exaggerated, and spread. Before you know it, a simple remark turns into a full-blown rumor and your name is attached to it. Once your reputation is linked to gossip, it's hard to change people's perception. One reason people gossip is the temporary feeling of control it provides. Knowing something others don't may feel empowering. But real power comes from integrity, from being someone others can trust, from protecting people's privacy, not exposing it. Respect follows those who keep confidences. To avoid gossip, take a step back from those situations. If someone starts talking negatively, don't join in. Change the subject, shift the conversation, or walk away. The less you involve yourself in gossip, the more others will respect your principles. How you speak about others reflects who you are. Speak with fairness and dignity, and you'll be seen as someone of character. If you gossip, people will avoid trusting you. The choice is yours. Poor body language undermines confidence. Before you say a word, your body speaks for you. And if your body language is closed off, fidgety, or unsure, people will sense a lack of confidence. Slouching, avoiding eye contact, and crossing your arms too tightly are signals of self-doubt. Poor posture makes you look smaller and less capable. People respect those who carry themselves with intention, standing tall and projecting confidence. Eye contact is one of the most powerful non-verbal tools you have. If you avoid someone's gaze, look at the floor, or shift your eyes nervously, it creates doubt. Strong individuals hold steady eye contact, not in a confrontational way, but with calm assurance. It shows they are present, focused, and comfortable being seen. Your posture says a lot about how you see yourself. If you shrink into yourself or avoid taking up space, you signal insecurity. Respected people hold themselves with relaxed strength. They occupy their space without arrogance, just with quiet confidence. Gestures also matter. Controlled, purposeful movements make you appear confident and engaged. On the other hand, hiding your hands or using excessive gestures can make you seem uneasy. Keeping your hands visible and open communicates honesty and assurance. In the end, respect doesn't come from chance. It's not about luck or being in the right place. It's not about being born with special talent. It's built on consistent behavior, grounded values, and how you carry yourself every single day. Respect is shaped by how you present yourself through your posture, your words, your energy, and how you occupy space. Every single day, with every interaction, you're either reinforcing that respect or slowly dismantling it. Now that you understand the behaviors that may be holding you back, it's time to reflect. Are you over-explaining and coming across as uncertain? Are you breaking promises and undermining your credibility? Do you talk more than you listen, turning the spotlight on yourself instead of engaging others? Are you constantly seeking approval rather than standing firm in your decisions? Do you retreat the moment challenges arise? Are you engaging in gossip and eroding trust? Or is your body language projecting weakness instead of quiet strength? This isn't about striving for perfection. It's about becoming more intentional with your habits and presence. The truth is, respect isn't demanded. It's cultivated through consistent, confident behavior. Start today by eliminating the patterns that are draining your influence. Instead, commit to developing the mindset, the discipline, and the presence that naturally commands respect. When you do that, everything begins to shift. Your professional path, your personal relationships, your sense of confidence. Change how you show up, and the world will change how it responds to you. Respect is earned in the moments when no one is watching. It's not a loud announcement. It's a quiet force built through consistency, presence, and self-awareness. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you're teaching others how to treat you by the way you show up. It's in the tone of your voice, the way you carry your posture, the decisiveness in your words, and how confidently you hold your space. Respect doesn't begin with others, it begins with you. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. You now know the habits that silently erode influence. Over-explaining your ideas makes you look unsure of yourself. Talking endlessly makes others feel invisible. Breaking promises, even small ones, chips away at your trustworthiness. These actions, though often unintentional, communicate weakness. And when you seek constant validation, you give away your power. When you retreat at the first sign of resistance, you tell the world you don't trust your own judgment. When you gossip, you tear down your own character more than anyone else's. And when your body language screams insecurity, it doesn't matter what words you say, because your presence already said otherwise. But here's the truth. All of that can change. Not through massive reinvention, but through intentional action. You don't need to become someone else. You need to return to who you were before fear, doubt, and noise got in the way. The strongest version of you is already inside. You just need to remove what's been dimming it. Confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from integrity, from knowing that your words align with your values, that you mean what you say and say what you mean. When you live that way, you move differently and people notice. Leadership, influence, and respect are not given to those who demand attention. They're given to those who don't need to. Those who walk into a room with calm authority, who don't overtalk, who don't need to be the loudest, because their presence already speaks volumes. When you develop a mindset rooted in self-respect, discipline, and clarity, everything begins to align. People listen differently. Opportunities open. Conversations shift. Because others can sense when someone truly respects themselves, and that energy commands attention. Don't underestimate the power of small shifts. Making eye contact, speaking clearly and directly, honoring your commitments, even when it's inconvenient. These are the quiet actions that build an unshakable foundation of respect. And if you fall short, that's okay. Growth is not about perfection, it's about intention. What matters is that you catch yourself, correct course, and keep moving forward. Every moment is a chance to reset, to rebuild, to reestablish the standard you hold yourself to. Start by cutting out the noise. Eliminate the habits that weaken your message. Stop looking for permission to lead. Stop asking if you're enough. Decide that you are. Then show up like it. Stand by your words. Back your decisions. Let your silence speak just as powerfully as your voice. Make room for others without shrinking your own value. Lead with conviction, not ego. Speak with purpose, not performance. The world doesn't respect those who try to fit in. It respects those who are bold enough to stand out by standing firm. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent, honest, grounded. You need to own who you are unapologetically. Respect is not about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to ask better questions, to hold space, to take feedback without losing your center, to stay grounded when others waver. So today, make a decision. Not a loud, dramatic declaration, but a quiet, resolute choice. A choice to start showing up like the person you know you're meant to be, someone who doesn't chase validation, but instead earns respect through clarity, discipline, and presence. This shift won't just change how others see you, it'll change how you see yourself. And once you start moving from a place of deep self-respect, your career transforms, your relationships grow, your confidence multiplies. Because you'll stop waiting for the world to give you respect and start walking like someone who already has it. When you begin honoring your word, especially to yourself, you build inner strength that no one can take from you. The promises you keep in private are the ones that shape your confidence in public. Every time you show up with discipline, even when it's hard, you send a message to yourself. I am dependable. I am consistent. I am someone who follows through. That self-trust, it's magnetic. People feel it before you even speak. You don't need to force respect. You need to align with it. When your actions, words, and energy are consistent, people naturally start paying attention. They stop doubting you because they can see you're not performing, you're living it. Too many people wait for permission to be powerful. They think they need more qualifications, more applause, more evidence. But the truth is, you don't need permission, you need decision. Decide who you are, then act accordingly. Speak when you have something meaningful to say. Listen when someone else does. Ask questions with curiosity, not judgment. These behaviors don't just make people respect you, they make you a better human being. Respect isn't loud, it's quiet confidence. It's the steady, unwavering presence that doesn't change to impress or blend in. It's knowing your worth without needing to announce it. You'll find that as you grow in respect, you start needing less validation. You don't chase attention. You don't over-explain your choices. You don't soften your voice to avoid discomfort. You simply stand in truth with grace. Real respect comes when you learn to be the same person in every room. You don't shrink for approval. You don't inflate for applause. You stay grounded because who you are doesn't depend on where you are. The people who get ahead aren't always the loudest or the most talented. They're often the most consistent. They show up, they deliver, they speak with purpose, they move with intention, and slowly but surely, they earn the kind of respect that can't be faked. In this world, a calm and centered presence is rare. It's what sets you apart. When you walk into a room with certainty, not arrogance, not hesitation, but quiet certainty, you shift the energy without saying a word. Most people are waiting to feel ready, but readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. You decide to lead. You decide to take ownership. You decide to stop playing small. That's when respect starts to follow. Don't confuse being liked with being respected. Liking is emotional, respect is earned. It's not about popularity, it's about principles. Stand on something solid, even if you stand alone. You don't have to impress everyone, you just have to live in a way that impresses yourself. That's where integrity begins. And integrity is the root of all lasting influence. People will notice when you stop explaining and start owning, when you stop apologizing for your ambition, when you start showing up like you believe in your own value, because you do. Let your results speak for you. Let your actions carry your voice. Respect isn't built by telling people who you are, it's built by showing them. When you stop needing others to believe in you, you start unlocking the belief in yourself. And that belief becomes your foundation, strong, unshakable, undeniable. You stop being afraid of rejection. You'll stop adjusting yourself to fit into smaller spaces. You'll begin creating the space where you belong and inviting others to meet you there. Don't underestimate the power of presence. Walk into the room like you belong there, not because you're trying to prove something, but because you've done the inner work to know that you do. Cut out the self-sabotage. Stop diluting your voice. Stop second-guessing your instincts. That version of you, the one who doubts, hesitates, and shrinks, isn't who you are meant to be. You are meant to lead, to speak truth, to take up space, to walk with purpose, to be the kind of person others look to, not for permission, but for inspiration. Let your standards rise. not to impress others, but to align with the person you're becoming. Hold yourself to a higher level, not for image, but for integrity. When you stop tolerating your own excuses, you start producing results that speak louder than any words. People don't respect potential, they respect performance. And your performance doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real, consistent, grounded in action, not intention. Let your energy communicate what your words can't. Walk like someone who knows where they're going, speak like someone who means what they say, listen like someone who values connection. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens every time you choose self-respect over self-doubt. Every time you speak up instead of staying silent. Every time you hold your ground with kindness and clarity. You'll start seeing the shift. People will respond differently. Conversations will feel deeper. Opportunities will come more often. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Respect follows alignment, and alignment starts within. Check your habits, audit your language, clean up your posture, stay true to your principles. These things are simple, but powerful. Let go of the noise. Let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Let go of the fear of being disliked. And replace it with presence, discipline, conviction, and clarity. This is your edge. Not how loud you are, not how many people follow you, but how well you know yourself, how consistently you lead yourself, and how deeply you respect yourself. The world has no choice but to follow your lead. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the choice is yours. You can continue carrying the habits that silently sabotage your influence, or you can rise intentionally, consistently, and powerfully. Respect isn't about trying to please everyone. It's about standing tall in who you are, holding your ground, and living in alignment with your values. Every step you take from this moment forward is either building your reputation or breaking it. So choose wisely. Speak with conviction, show up with purpose, and lead with character, even when no one's watching. Because when you earn respect, you don't just change how others see you, you transform how you see yourself. If this message spoke to you, don't just scroll away. Hit that like button, drop a comment with the habit you're committed to breaking, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready for more content that challenges your mindset and helps you grow into the person you're meant to be, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. This is just the beginning. Your next level is waiting. Let's rise together.